at the Enigma Sky Lounge. As you can hear or feel the breeze, there's going to be noise. We're at the heart of Accra, overlooking the whole of Accra. And so the conversation is going to be very sweet, very calming, and very breezy at times as well. I have my brother, Jeremiah. Let's talk about the beginning, when you started. Growing up in the US as a black person, especially in the NFL, I know that your parents, your mom, your dad, Christian based, that's how you grew up. Tell us about growing up in the US.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. It's truly a pleasure to not only be in the land of Ghana, but be in front of the master, Lady Dentaa. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor. For me, growing up, in the United States, having a sort of a dual upbringing, if I would say. Spent a lot of time with my father, spent a lot of time with my mother primarily. And, you have different tastes, but similar as well. You have from the South, Baptist Pentecostal vibe going on, very strict, right? And then you have the Ghanaian, also very biblical. Growing up, we almost knew the Bible like we knew how to breathe air. It was very strict and very disciplined. But again, we are still in a culture and in a society that doesn't necessarily exude the best environment to produce a disciplined child. But there was a very intimate level of including our education, including our sports, including things that will really keep us involved and keep us active, so that we weren't much in the streets or doing things that we didn't have any business doing. So,
was there somebody in your family that inspired you to do the NFL? Was it your big brother? I know you spoke about your brother. Who inspired you to get into the sport?
Yeah, well, starting off, I was a basketball guy. I would love to go out, play ball, dunk on the smaller hoops, have fun with the, local neighbors, right, children, and that was really my thing. But at some point they were like, look, man, you getting too aggressive on this basketball field. We need to put the aggression and channel it in different ways. So my older brother, Jerry Brooks, from a different father, he also was a huge part in that, because he was like, look, let's have him step off a little bit and let's give him a helmet, right? First time I put on the helmet, man, I believe I cried. I didn't really want, rec ball, you don't have any really measured helmets. They just give you anything, give you some pads, and you go out there. So that was my really experience starting off. It was a little bit rough, but ultimately, that was the deciding thing that I decided to do. So
you enjoyed it when you went to practice?
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, this is the thing, with, sports, with any endeavor in life, you don't really seem to enjoy it all the time, right? Okay. When I started off, I didn't really enjoy it like I do now. But as you know more about it, as you grow more, you start to grow a love for it. You can't really love anything that you really don't know. But for me, as I grew knowledge for it, I started to love it even more as I played. So.
And weren't your parents, even though they kind of encouraged you to do the sport, but education-wise, because I know African parents, you still have to get the education. So what were you studying? What were you doing?
Well, my father wasn't too familiar, like, this football thing,
Yeah.
Kind of wanted to just get an education, let's call it that, right? But as time progressed, he knew more about the sport. He started to love it as well. My mother was the one that kind of was like, from Fort Myers, Florida. That's what they do down there. They have a lot of legends that come out of there. Deion Sanders, coming from that lower southern part of Florida. And, for her, that was a big thing. Sports was a big thing for her. So I had the educational emphasis, and then I had the the sports emphasis, and then the overall religious emphasis. Right. So I had the kind of, the trinity of it all, right?
Okay.
But, that kind of was my play.
What made you so interested in your heritage and your culture and your history?
Yeah, well, I think first it stems from a responsibility, right? My ability to respond. And I think for me, as I went in high school, as I went to college, my father would, oftentimes take us back to Ghana, whether it's 30 days or a month, right? And really just had us embed ourselves a bit in the culture. And we didn't really know much about, what was going on, why we were wearing black to this funeral, why we were wearing this certain color, why we were wearing this kente cloth. We didn't really know much about it. But as I got to college and I really studied the subject of theology, I started to study different African spiritual groups. And the more I understood, the more I learned, the more I said, well, I have a responsibility to own my heritage, to go back, to search, to discover exactly that makes me, me, right? What makes us all unique is who we are. So I felt that it was my responsibility to study on those topics and study more about the history and the herstory of our people, the land of Ghana. So.
And would you say that stemmed from you coming back home to Ghana?
Yeah, I believe, for me, it stems from coming back home, but it also stems from the values,
Okay.
right? It stems from, I could be in the United States, and if my values rest in the heart of Ghana, that's where my treasures will be, right? Where your treasures will be, there your heart will be also, as the scripture says. And I think that once you really key into what that means is, I set my values in a particular place. I set my values in a particular business or a particular job or a particular sport. And the more that, I value that particular thing, the more I want to learn about it, the more I want to cultivate it, the more I want to grow it. And that's what it is for me. It became all encompassing. It became holistic. Right. I wanted to learn about the certain herbs that we had. I wanted to learn about, the history, the dances, as you saw there a couple of, weeks back. I wanted to learn about the small, minute things about why we are how we are. So.
Right. And I'll touch on that, Dua, because I know that some of the NFL games, even when you're going on into the pitch, you will do the kind of like, bring it in.
It's subtle though. Yeah, it's subtle.
I see it.
That's crazy you recognize that though.
Yeah. So like, again, is it from just learning about your culture that you're just like, oh, this is how I want to enter the space spiritually? Yeah,
anytime you have a opportunity to show the world, who you are, show the world what you are, where you come from, represent those who have came before you in a beautiful light. Yeah. I think that we should all take that responsibility. Right. You understand? So when, I go into the stadium and I have an opportunity to introduce me, they have to say Owusu-Koramoah, and I gotta kind of just do something that really represents not only myself, but represents an entire people and an entire society. And I think that that's the beautiful thing about it is whether it's clothes, whether it's dance, whether it's music, you're not just representing yourself, but thousands and thousands of years of the people that have really formulated themselves to be who they are.
Mm. Your love for fashion, when did that start? Would you say growing up, you always like colors, you always like, Mummy, I want to wear this? Were you like dictated to your mother what you want to wear? How did it all start?
Well, growing up, going to elementary school, middle school, I was a big guy of wearing things that represented the attitude that I wanted to bring. So like I would have, like, Mom, can I get a military outfit? I would wear a military outfit to school like as a youth.
Wow.
Yeah. I would, hey, can I get that thing that Pastor was wearing? Just to kind of like, because at the end of the day, fashion is really how you express the mode that you are in, the energy that you are in, right? You go to a ceremony, you go to a ritual, you go to anything that has to do with, a bigger mission or a bigger meaning, you always put on a certain cloth, right? So that's how it was for me. I didn't really understand exactly what I was doing, but as I take a survey and analysis of how I grew up in fashion, I understood that, I had a little bit of, a gift in me to understand what to put on, what it meant, and honestly, what it would mean going forward.
When you started wearing traditional stuff to the NFL grounds, did you get any pushback? Were there people like, is this dude okay?
Yeah. Well, I think pushback comes when people don't truly understand. Right. So I think at first there is pushback because there's a ignorance there, right? And you give mercy to those who don't truly know. Yeah. Those that don't know the culture, they don't know the language, right? And the language in which we present ourselves, right? I think that that's very important too when we talk about just a presentation is just the audience, right? You have a business, you're marketing, you want to understand your targeted audience. And for me, I was just like, I don't got an audience right now. I'm just trying to express myself. Right. So now I put the kente on and they're like, oh yeah, what is that? What's going on there, right? But honestly, those who do understand, right? Those in Africa, those even in the United States, in the diaspora, in the Caribbean, those who understand really come close to it, and sometimes the pushback seems invisible, right? Because of the love that you get. So. Okay.
And then, so do you have like a stylist, or do you create these things in your head and then pass it on to somebody to get those things for you?
Yeah, it comes by way of different things, right? Or different energies. Again, 1 week I may feel like, sourcing myself. Okay. So I'll go to one of the African local boutiques. I got guys out in Cleveland that have some really, really nice things.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll just hit one of my friends up here in Ghana and say, hey, can you source this material for me and send it to me? I'll, pay a small fee, et cetera, et cetera. Or I'll go to Benin, or I'll go to Cote d'Ivoire, or go to Nigeria, hit some of my friends up and say, can you source this? And then I have some fashion designers as well. Shout out to my fashion designers, Dion out of Cote d'Ivoire, my Monty out of Texas. I got some in Cali as well. Shout out to House of Alma. And just different people that source things for me, especially that northern, kind of like the smock that I wore near the last game. That was straight, you know, from up north. I had a guy make it from up north. Yeah, so it just depends on the energy of the week, you know.
So you don't plan it?
No plan. Sometimes, you know, and Muhammad can he can witness to this. Sometimes, you know, I'll end up just choosing maybe a couple of days before, maybe a day before.
Wow.
And those are the times I just go to the local boutique, because obviously you can't get, you know, shipping that fast, right? So, yeah.
What would you say? I know that I don't know whether you're going to say, but which country, in terms of material, in terms of the vibe, do you get a lot of energy from?
Well, outside of Ghana?
Yeah.
Outside of Ghana?
Outside of Ghana.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say.
Ghana's number one, obviously.
Yeah, you know, you throw the kente on, it's a different story, you know, literally. For me, I think that the most energy that I've really gotten was when it comes down, you know, I had a black kente. People think that it was from Ghana, but I actually sourced that from Cote d'Ivoire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I sourced that from Cote d'Ivoire, and that had a lot of energy in it. I felt like, you know, even, of course, the color black, you know, streams from...
What is your favorite color?
Black, right?
Okay.
So that's, you know, probably why I felt, you know, and I played one of the best games when I wore that.
Really?
Yeah. And I had a different type of crown that was going in.
Wow.
Yeah,
but I don't see you wearing a lot of black, though. I see you wearing a lot of vibrant colors.
Yeah, so I try to switch it up, right? When it comes to the mainstream, I don't want people thinking like, this dude emo, you know, this dude gothic, you know. So I do wear black, but it's more so on the back end. You know, I'm chilling, I go to work, I wear a lot of black. But when it comes to mainstream, I like to present the colors, because the colors have, you know, a plethora of meanings.
When did you start seeing that, oh, what I'm doing is actually making a change? Like, you're inspiring a lot of people. I don't know whether when we had the dinner for you, one of the women mentioned about her son in the UK is inspired about what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
How do you think the impact of just your fashion is making, forget the sport, but the fashion element is spreading so fast?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just one moment or the other moment. I think that it's a plethora of combined experiences that I've had with the youth, and especially the youth. You know, when you get in touch and you try to represent something, you do something, and the youth see it, because those are the people that really hold the future in their hands, especially in Ghana. Ghana, probably about 70% of our people are below 40 years old, 50 years old, right? So it's a very young population. And that's really what comes near and dear to me is when the youth comes up to me and says, hey, I want to be just like you. And not just like me in exactly, because we all have different experiences, but the principle in which I represent. You know, someone who has gone off, right? Someone who has grown up in the diaspora and came back, discovered, studied, and wanted to find out for himself, right? And I think that that's the principle that people are getting and are understanding. You know, oftentimes when you see the GQ, you see the NFL honors, the different awards that I'm getting for fashion, we think, oh, you know, this is a wonderful thing and he's doing something very unique. But to be honest, I mean, when you really take a look at it, I'm just being me. Right. You know, I'm just going back. I'm just saying Kofa, right? I'm just taking what I already had inside of me and pulling it out. Right. So I think that that's the important thing to realize is a lot of the times when we want to create a revolution, cultural revolution, ideological revolution, we often try to go different places outside of us. But really all we have to do is search within and pull it out. And that thing that we pull out will be the thing that saves us. When
you won the GQ most fashionable NFL player, right? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it was good. You know, you always give thanks, praise to the Most High for allowing you to be acknowledged. And when acknowledgement comes, discovery comes. You know, you see a particular thing, oh, this is, you know, hot, this is the trend right now. And people start to discover, people start to study more and say, yo, what exactly is this he's doing? What does this garment mean? What is this particular walk what is this particular dance that he's doing, right? And that exposure also brings a benefit to the people that are being represented. Right. So that's what it really, you know, means for me is just having a platform that I can continue to push the people and to raise the people's consciousness. And consciousness is really what we are striving to, right? For us to be aware of the situation that we're in. It's a very competitive world. Right. It's a competitive in reference to business, in reference to sports, education. Everybody's trying to get it. Everybody's trying to grab it, right? And the more that we can bring this exposure, whether it's through Afro beats, whether it's through the clothes that we wear, the things that we say, the the businesses that we have, the more that we can create that consciousness in our people, the more we can see ourselves rising more and more.
For the few months that I've known you, I can already tell that you're a very disciplined person. When it comes to the sport, I know that when you have to train, when you have to do what you have to do, you're very disciplined. But you're also very disciplined when it comes to what you eat. You're vegan. And from a Ghanaian household, that's a little bit, because the fufu needs to go with meat. So, no, when did you start being a vegan? And, why is it important for you to be a vegan in doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think that, again, we all have different paths. When it comes down to being disciplined, it roots from the word disciple. Disciple means to follow.
Right.
So, I would mean nothing if I don't give credit to those who came before me to walk on that same journey. Right. Those who said, let me take a survey of our people. Oftentimes we talk about politics, we talk about business, we talk about sports, we talk about music. But where is the revolution in health, right? Where is the survey in saying, we got cholesterol problems, we have high blood pressure, we have cancer, diabetes, stroke, right? Fibro, all of these different things. Where is the consciousness there? And I think for me, it's very holistic to be able to say, okay, well, if I want to be the best discipline or best disciple, following those who came before me, my ancestors, then I must also do something better. I must also find a way to be unique and to be a guide and a light for our people holistically. Okay. And for me, I say, okay, well, this is very important. And I want to find a way to recover faster. I want to find a way to ensure my health and sustainability, because I couldn't do this work if I don't have health, right? Take the best king in the world. If you don't have health, he's gone very quickly, or best queen, right? So, but for me, that's what my process is. My process is just to find a way to set myself apart, whether it's eating, more, calories, being able to fill myself and doing it the right way, or whether it's making sure that I'm staying hydrated, eating the most alkaline foods that I can. So it's a duality to life, and ultimately I think that's the Nkwa, right? The totality of life. So
let's talk about Nkwa. This trip you brought 35 people to Ghana. This is not the first time, but this is the biggest amount of people that you've brought. Talk about the first few times up until now.
Yeah, in the ground roots of it, the start of it, the first year, I didn't really have a compass. But I was reaching out and I was trying to find different people to collab with. And I found my good brother, Muhammad Usman. And he was, really a guiding light to that process and to figuring out, what are the best locations? What are the best foods? Well, what are the best markets, right? I had come here a lot of times, twice a year with my father, but, I wasn't as specific in finding those locations. So through the Titans of Africa, that kind of was my ground roots. As the years went on, we continued to work together. This year, we say, okay, we need more resources. We need more people. We need more hands in the pot, right? I think from that position, when we get more hands in the pot and more people are involved, more people that have the same intentions, right? With Nkwa, the specificity of it is body, mind, and spirit. It's the holistic of life, right? So we focus on health. We focus on the development, specifically of youth, offering educational opportunities, right? Having programs that can ensure that people get something from it, right? It's not just us kind of just wanting to give, right? But it's also, what the people can receive and what they can apply right now. The practicality of it, teaching the game of football, but also teaching the principles of life. So that really is the guiding compass to Nkwa. And as we continue to place these seeds, we're looking to build that big tree, that big palm tree, if you'll say, to build that educational center where people can come, youth can come to be able to solve their problems.
Okay. So your vision is to have an educational?
Yeah.
What are you planning to have?
We say educational center, right? A center of education for people to come in academia, specifically the youth, probably high school range, right?
Okay.
And to say, okay, this is the problem that I have in my community, and let's streamline in high school. Let's streamline the problem that you have. Of course, taking the proper electives, taking the proper things that are mandatory, but streamlining the problem in your community. So therefore, we can offer a solution right there in high school. And say if you want further learning, you could go into college and you have a guiding compass. A lot of the times the youth, when they go to school, they just go because you told them to go.
Yeah.
But what if they had a specific channel to which they're going to school, a channel to which they see in life, saying, okay, I'm one person, I'm going to solve this problem. And as I'm there with many other youths, they have a problem as well. Okay. Now I can network with a bunch of youths. And we're all looking forward to solving the issues in our community. And that's intelligence. Okay. That's what education is supposed to do. It's supposed to ensure the sustainability of a people. And once you can solve problems, then you can be called the best IQ.
Right.
Right.
And so that's mixed with the NFL game still? So
there's yes. So again, I mean, that academy will include, I mean, probably the first, I believe it will be the first academy educational center with American football within it, right? Okay. And of course that provides other opportunities, job opportunities, cultural engagement or cultural exchange, right. Development of infrastructure, right? And I think that is the thing that we're trying to move forward, right? How can we create educational centers to not only benefit, the youth, to benefit the country, but to benefit Africa in total, but also benefit humankind. It'll be a beacon, as Ghana has always been since 1957, a beacon for what liberty looks like, what Pan-Africanism looks like, what accepting your own looks like. And I think that is really just the mission.
How was when you did it? So it was a 2-day camp?
Yeah, 2-day camp.
Tell us the process of the 2 days, what happened?
Yeah, it was a 2-day camp, right? And the first day is a fundamentals camp. It's a very slow paced tutorial. And we have about 120 to 150 people come to participate, wow. Along with the people that are also, doing the naturopathy on the side, the herbs, the different liquids, the hydration on the side. We have some educators, some historians come, and they're also telling history, right? The second day is more competitive, to bring out the teamwork, to bring out the sacrifice, to bring out the time management, the fierceness that is within us, because it's also about being able to be a warrior, right? Be a warrior in every aspect of life. Asafo, right? Yeah. And that, when you carry that warrior mindset, you can really accomplish anything. So those are the principles that we teach, starting from the first day to the second day, which is more of that tournament feel. Ultimately, we have the names on the back, where you have Osagyefo Ofori, you have Yaya Santiwa, you have Amika Cabral, you have different people like Marcus Garvey, you have Imhotep, Nelson Mandela, Winnie Mandela, right? We have those people who we're acknowledging as ancestors who have lighted the path for us to be able to continue on this walk to true sovereignty. So,
how do you see the talent in Ghana as compared to, I don't know, the US? When you came, the 150
Yeah, it's different,
people.
Really?
Yeah,
it's different. It's a different vibe because, in the US we do have those opportunities, right? When you come to a land and the opportunities are in a position, especially with football, American football, the opportunity of American football isn't super broad. You have a few people that's trying to do a few things here, but the infrastructure is not there. The leagues aren't there. So when you present a new sport, it's more attention to detail. It's laser focus. Guys are taking information, very processing it very fast and implementing it right now. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see out of the youth. The youth, they want to be seen, but they also want to be gave opportunities. They also want to be in a position where you can say, hey, I can count on you to present this opportunity for me, and it's my responsibility to take seize of that.
Right. The trip was, what, I think 10 days? So went to McDan's.
Yeah, it was a lot.
We did a lot.
Yeah.
McDan's, what did you think about McDan's, the reception that we had there?
Yeah.
And the light and the wisdom that he shared?
Oh, yeah. I think that going to McDan's was a beautiful step, not only for I, but also for the people that came. You take 35 people from the United States, 90% which have never been, to Africa, and Ghana's their first place. Another probably 5% that's never been out the country.
Yeah.
And I think that taking such a unique group and implementing them in a place that you have such a successful businessman, philanthropist, brother, servant, as he said many times, you kind of get a beacon of what that looks like to be able to be in a different land and be successful. Be in Africa specifically, because you're going against the narrative. You're going against the status quo of what it is. Maybe, growing up, you heard African booty scratcher. You heard all these different terms in, what may seem like a land that has nothing, right? And that's really sad to see it, right? But anytime you have a narrative, you have to look at who that narrative is benefiting and say, okay, if that's benefiting the people that's not me, then I must strive to formulate a new narrative. And that's what those 35 people did. And that's what, McDan, in his speeches and his wisdom saying, hey, come back.
Yeah.
We have this opportunity, we have this investment opportunity, this is what you can do here.
Right.
And I don't know anything about the brother's private life, right? But I only can speak on the experience that I had personally. Sure. And it was a beneficial experience.
Why was it important for you to bring your mother on this trip? Your mother was here with some of her friends, and you went to Treasure Island with her. You went everywhere with her. Ghana Independence. I think her favorite moment was, the Ghana Independence.
Probably.
And then also seeing some of the homes that she's seen in the movies, which she kept on talking about, how she watches a lot of Ghanaian and Nigerian movies. Why was it important for you to bring your mother to Ghana?
Interesting enough, it was the first time. Right, first time in Ghana, and it was important because at the end of the day, right, you hear the line, "We are children of Africa," but really those who have the consciousness are really the parents of Africa, because they have to cultivate, they have to birth that into which they want to see, right? So for me, I'm not saying I'm a parent of my parent, right? Yeah. But I'm just more so bringing across the ideology that it's our responsibility as youth, those who are in the space of awakeness, is to say, hey, Mom, come to Ghana with me. Yeah. Hey, Mom, come to South Africa with me. Come to Ethiopia with me. Come to, these countries with me that so that you can see and get a different experience, right? She cried when she touched down, right? She cried and she said, oh, wow, this is just like my movies.
Yeah, just like her movies. And obviously she was married to a Ghanaian, your dad, but never had the opportunity to come. So this was like a very special moment for her.
Yeah. And I think, part of my father not doing that was just protecting us in a way, right? Protecting us in a way that all he knew was, hey, look, let me have them in the diaspora. Let me, channel this education. Let me allow them to get the opportunities, right? And then have them come back, to have them be in a position where they can now give back to the people, right? And take advantage of those things. And I think that you can also do that here, but for him, in the 90s, in the 2000s, you only can do so much in what you know. And I think that for him, was kind of the reason why he probably stayed a bit, distant. But I think that for him, he's a genius in what he does. And, I give credits to my father as well for, just being who he is and allowing me to experience what I'm experiencing,
So you're from Old Taffel. Obviously, the first trip in February, you, me, and Mo went to see Osagyefo. Do you think that the second visit was more special with your family, your friends?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that moment.
All of the visits were very, very impactful, right? But when you can share a space with more people and you can share the ears with them, you can share the speech, in the eyes and viewing. You share all of the senses with a particular people that has that intention to say, okay, I want to come learn. I want to come see. What is the hype about? They always see me in Ghana, like, why is this guy always in Ghana? My teammates too, had about 10 other teammates, 9 teammates. They're like, why is this guy always in Ghana, right? And for them, I think it was a revelation. Like, wow, like there is something to this, right? There is love, right? There is purpose, there is passion, there is truth. Ultimately, that's what we're trying to get to is the truth of the matter. Yeah. And for them, being on that second visit to Osagyefo and seeing and hearing his speech, this guy's a master speaker. He's a master speaker, and the way that he conveys himself and touches the hearts of the people, speaking to the hearts, is different. It's different.
You have inspired, like I mentioned, a lot of people. What happens next, Jeremiah? How do you see the next few years?
Yeah. Well, the next few years for me is just, going back home, sitting down at my desk, taking the pen and the paper and saying, these are the things that need to be fixed. These are the things that we can grow upon. And these are the things that we have done well. It's about doing the audit, right? Yeah. And that's what love is. Love is doing the audit of your community and your environment to say, these are the things that need to be fixed. These are the things that are done well, and these are the things that we can grow upon. And for me, I'm saying, education is a big thing. Creating infrastructure, sustainability is a big thing. Being able to add more people that have a more clear ideology and a clear way of life in which they want to push on to people, help people. I think that those are the smaller things, the smaller principles, ultimately, in what's next, right? Infrastructure, sustainability, people.
Right. How do you see us, the diaspora, coming back? What national development or economic development do you think that we can bring to Ghana and Africa?
Yeah, I mean, you know, first speaking in Africa in total, whether you're from Kenya, whether you're from Morocco, whether you're from Senegal, wherever you're at, right? I think that in the diasporic realms, we have accumulated a lot of intellectual property. And I believe that that's the number one thing that we can bring back is the ideals on how to be able to implement a country that is, right, that's on the rise, a country that is able to take its resources and to use them for themselves, right, to benefit themselves. And I believe for me, you know, when I talk to my brothers and my sisters in the diaspora, they say, hey, what can we, you know, we want to come to Ghana, we want to do business, we want to do this and do that. But ultimately, I think that we should be able to just be a light for those, right? As they have been a light for us, you know? And to be honest, I don't like to separate them because we're the same people.
Right.
We're the same people, right? I think that whether you know, African and American, whether you're African in Europe, whether you're African in, you know, South America, I think we all have a responsibility to come back home and to take a survey of the land and say, okay, this is what I do well and this is what I can help you out with here in the land in which I come. So.
Okay. When sometimes I say to people, oh, Jeremiah's 24, they don't believe it.
Me, I'm 24.
They don't believe it because, I don't know, it's the way in which I think you speak. It's like, I always say, like my son, I always say that he's like an old man that's been born again, right? Do you think, or do you think it's because of the knowledge that you've acquired, or how you were brought up by your parents? Like, how do you see it? Because the way you talk, you don't talk like a 24-year-old.
What? And that's interesting, right? I always say to myself, I'm behind.
Really?
Ah, yeah, man. You take a look at, and it's about history, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you take a look at history, even some of our biblical traditions, right? You got kings at 16, right? Kings at 13, 12, right? You have Fred Hampton, one of the great revolutionaries there in the United States, 20 years old, right? That's leading the entire people, right? You have Thomas Sankara, very, very, you know, young general, right? Young leader of a people, right? And I think when we're growing up, we oftentimes are like, oh, I got time to grow, I got time to do this, but it's different for us. It's different for people that's trying to rise up, that's trying to change their reality. Now, if my people is already at the top, you know, all I have to do is focus on maintain, right? I go in the classroom, you take two people, they sit in there and they have the same education. What's the difference between the outcomes of the two children? One of them has a mindset to say, I'm gonna change the way that things are. Right. Another one has a mindset to say, I'm gonna maintain the way things are. So those are the two channels. So for me, I'm like, okay, I wanna change the way that things are. And that's the funnel in which I view life.
Right.
But for some people growing up, you know, they want to do the Santa Claus. It's not knocking Santa Claus. They want to do the Valentine's Day and the St. Patrick's, and it's fine, right? And myth does have a certain power to it. But I think at the end of the day, when we're talking about trying to be competitive, we have to focus on some of those things that are a bit more important, like, you know, ecology and theology and you know, business and yeah, right. These are the things that I think that, for me, you know, when I start to have children, hopefully soon, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully soon, you know, I think
your dark-skinned baby.
Yeah, you know, little Melly, little Melly. Nah, give thanks though, man.
You also have a little brother who's a sports person, a younger brother. Tell us about your little brother.
Yeah,
don't lie. He's good.
Nah, like he's doing a well job for himself. I think that us being able to get him in what's called IMG Academy, one of the best football academies there in the United States, has really propelled him in learning his game.
Wow.
Not only just playing the game of football, but it's also about gaining experiences, being around people you know that will be successful, creating an environment of network that would allow you to propel yourself and better yourself in the field that you want to go in. So he's doing a great job. He has, you know, just about every scholarship that you can get in the United States from all the schools. You know, he's had Harvard. You know, he has the Princeton offer. He has the the Georgia offer. He got whatever offer you want to name university wise.
Did you get that?
I believe he has it.
Did you get that
I got
at
all
that
that.
age?
I don't got the UG though.
You didn't get
the UG. I had the Princetons, I had the Yales.
Okay.
But I didn't have the UG though. And this is completely free now.
Okay.
That's another thing about football is it's given about 35,000 scholarships a year.
Wow.
Right in the United States and free of charge. Not free, but you gotta work for it, right? But it's free. And I think that's something also that I want to implement here is just how do we get some of the guys over to the States just to get a free education and bring exactly what they learned right back, right?
That'd be amazing.
Whether it's a couple of years, right? But it's just that sacrifice and the investment that you'll make that will be worthwhile to them and their experience and how they implement that here in Ghana.
So do you think your brother will go into NFL or would it be?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Is he like?
Yeah, he all right. I mean, he Nah, he pretty big.
Yeah.
He pretty big.
What's his name?
Nathaniel
Owusu-Koramoah.
Oh,
Boateng.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boateng.
Okay.
See how he took my little
hyphen.
My little hyphen. He won't supposed to take that.
But does he look like you? Do you look alike?
Yeah. Some people say that. I wouldn't say it, but some people say it.
Okay. Why?
He want to be like me, man. He be trying to call himself like, NOB and
really?
Like trying to give him acronyms, like talking about I'm JOK.
JOK, yeah.
He went to Notre Dame, took a visit to Notre Dame, the University of Notre Dame where I went to university at. And he like taking pictures with my number on. He got the 6 on. I'm like, yo, what? Who let him?
Wow. But that means he's inspired by you.
No, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But be yourself, man. Before I had to put my hands on you.
We even came here. How was your experience here?
Yeah, I mean, this was more like our end time just to celebrate. Hey, we did a great job with the camp.
Yeah.
We did a great job, treating the people with respect, treating everybody with love and dignity. And that's really the key thing. We here at Enigma Sky Lounge and, we had a great time. They treated us well. The owners was, very great.
Wow.
We got gifted some some treats, some what are them hats
Signature,
called?
yeah, I've got them.
Yeah, you took my gifts, but it's cool.
It's cool.
Nevertheless, it's a beautiful view, man. It's, right in the heart, like you said, of our crowd, and I believe, really was one of the top places that we was, especially at that nighttime view. You got the lights and everything. It's very
and you
nice.
stayed at Signature as well. You stayed right below for a few days.
Right below, stayed here for a few days, and of course, Signature is one of the top places, so shout out to them.
Yeah, and then Nsuomnam.
Nsuomnam.
Yes, Nsuomnam.
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 You didn't say that the first time.
Nsuomnam.
Okay, I hear you.
So how was the experience? That was your, the networking event where we had other people come in to meet you and all of that. How was that?
Yeah, I would say Nsuomnam was one of the best places that we went, if not the best place, just because of the people that were there, the businesses that were there. A lot of times people come to Ghana and want to see what they can get out of it. But at the end of the day, for me, I think I wanted to be able to create an environment. And of course, Guba, shout out to Lady Dentaa and her ability to be able to create an environment of network that would allow me to bring forth that mission, is just to give back. What can I do to embed myself fully in Ghanaian-owned brands and Ghanaian-owned businesses, apartments, whatever it may be across the board, and to find a way that Inqua can partner up with those groups to bring forth the best result. Yeah. So that was a fabulous dinner. Shout out to Caveman too for the nice watch, custom watch, man. If you ain't got the custom, Caveman watch, you gotta go check it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we went on a real estate tour, went to see some imperial homes as well, which you had watched online before coming to Ghana. So you were really looking forward to viewing some of the properties there.
Yeah, man. Again, all the Ghanaian-owned brands and their ability to say, open their arms up to the diaspora. Yeah. It really speaks a lot on the integrity and the mindset of Ghanaians at this particular time, is just to be able to say, hey, look, I know you're coming back home. I want to open my arms to you. I'll give you a tour. I change up some times of the day. Sometimes we're a little late because getting 34 people together is very difficult time-wise, right? So I think whether it's Imperial Homes, whether it's Signature, whether it's all the other businesses that we went across, they did a good job opening their arms to us and really greeting us home.
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. Treasure Island is my favorite place. One of my favorite places is a kickback spot. In Ada.
Yeah.
you want to take your lady, you want to, kick back a little bit.
Do you take a lady there?
Who?
Huh?
What you
I'm
mean?
just asking you so you could take a lady.
What you saying?
Huh?
Huh?
You are not correct.
What? Hello. The noise is in the back.
Your noise, yeah?
You don't get noisy in here, huh? Nah, Treasure Island is at a great location. My brother Sam, whose father owns the place, has done a great job in welcoming us. Not only this trip, but all the other trips.
Okay. Oh, that's
and
nice.
hosting dinners, hosting lunches, brunches, whatever they may be. And really, again, spreading that brotherly love, spreading the love that, hey, look, you're from the same place that I'm from. Let's find a way to collab. Let's find a way to work together. And unity, right? Unity comes in diverse places.
Right.
To be able to say, okay, I'm from a different location. You're from a different location. I have a different ideology, but hey, we can unite somewhere. It's very important. I think that, Treasure Island has done a great job just creating that hub where you can come and relax for a little bit and to enjoy Ghana for its beauty.
Wow. Do you see yourself taking Nkwa to other African countries and other Caribbean places?
Yeah. So actually, speaking of, Nkwa, branching out a bit, we've been in Dimona, Israel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've been, of course, in the United States, Ghana, Takoradi, Techimai. We've been different places, right? But this year, we're in June, going to be in St. Lucia.
Yay.
Castries.
Hey.
Beautiful land.
Can't wait.
Beautiful land. Shout out to Priest Kailash, the Honorable Priest Kailash, and what he's doing there with the Rejuvenation Center. Again, very important that our people start to acknowledge the consciousness health-wise. Yeah. He's done a great job. He has a Rejuvenation Center there in the mountains. We're going to host another American football camp there in St. Lucia. We got the government involved. We got, different people involved, doctors, historians. Again, we creating the same system, being able to just reach out further, right? Probably have something sooner or later in Tanzania. I know Brother Muhammad loves Tanzania, so we'll maybe jump over there. So we'll take a look at it.
Fantastic. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to going to St. Lucia. It's my first time. I haven't been to any Caribbean islands yet, so looking forward to that. Out of all of the books that you've read, and I know you've read a lot of books, what is one of your favorite quotes and what is one of your favorite books? My favorite quote really comes from my favorite book. So we all in the same place. Okay. It's Dr. Amos Wilson. Okay. Oh,
he has a book. He has a book that's called Blueprint for Black Power. And it's a book that's about 700 pages, about this big. Yeah, so... You read all of it? Yes, I have, actually. And it's one of the books that set a practical blueprint. Whether it's you want to build an academy, it has a curriculum in there. You want to be able to start a business, it has a curriculum in there. It's very practical for our people. He wrote it at a time where we didn't have too much access to a lot of information, and he was able to implement that within our people. But the quote is this: a true nationalist does not follow tradition for tradition's sake, right? A true nationalist is one who takes a look at tradition and takes a look at the present time to say, what can I give to that tradition? And he goes on to, explain more. And he says that, don't just look to change tradition if you haven't tested it over 10,000 times, because obviously these traditions that we have been tested over thousands of years. Yes. But I think that's a very important quote, because sometimes we take a look at tradition and we say, oh, well, I'm so stuck in the past that I can't be able to add anything. My generation can't add anything. And I think that for us in our progression, in our elevation, it's very important that we implement our experience. We implement our ideas into what tradition has already laid in, to build on top of it, not to scratch it out, right? I come not to do away with the law, but to fulfill it, right? I think that that's the same principle that we should carry to our traditions and to what we want to do in the present day. It's amazing. Yeah. Thank you for joining me on the show. You've been inspiring as always. Wishing you all of the best. I know that we're going to be seeing more of you on our screens. We're going to be like watching, what's Jeremiah going to wear tomorrow? What's he going to wear next week? Yes, right. And also just, praying that you do well in the game, which we know that you will be doing. So thank you once again. I'm so honored and pleased to be part of your little journey somewhere somewhere, but I'm really grateful for the opportunity as well. I give thanks for you. I give thanks for the opportunity to be at this beautiful place with beautiful air in front of a beautiful woman. You know, give thanks for life. Give thanks for the mighty life giver. All praise be to the Most High, and continuing on this journey as we are taking step by step.
Inshallah.
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 Oh my goodness.
Thank you all for watching the show. See you next time.